11, New England in a deep freeze, hit hard by snow, sleet, and rain.
Temperatures are falling fast, turning everything to ice. When will it warm up?
Some T-riders left out in the cold. Track troubles putting Blue Line trains out of service during the evening rush.
From the rails to the roads, the first storm of the season packed a punch. We have night team coverage. Plus, things get heated up on the road in Andover.
What you expect in Andover at 10 o'clock in the morning.
A man in court accused of pulling a gun on a snowplow driver.
And Oprah is back on TV. She's weighing in on her personal battle with the scale.
It's all now on the Night Team.
7 News at 11 starts now. Tonight on 7, everybody freeze.
Go to Florida where it's nice and hot.
Temperatures take a dive. New England hit hard by round 1 of winter weather.
So the snow and the rain that came down, well, tonight it's turning to ice.
Temperatures are falling fast tonight. Earlier, a problem on the Blue Line left riders out in the cold. This was at the height of evening rush hour. They were forced to wait in freezing temperatures for shuttle buses to get there.
Our first winter storm brought a messy mix that coated our roads with slush, causing road hazards for drivers. We have night team coverage of our storm today, including a closer look at what we can all expect tomorrow morning. Let's start with Tim Caputo live at the Bowdoin T-Stop with the latest on what threw the evening commute off track earlier. Tim?
Well, it was a relatively simple fix. Right now, the Blue Line is back up and running this evening. They solved the problem in the better part of 2 hours, but it just happened to be the worst time possible.
They need to send empty buses.
Blue Line riders left out in the cold.
The T has screwed up again.
Frustration mounted during evening rush hour after shuttle buses replaced trains between Bowdoin and Maverick stops on the Blue Line.
Everybody's stranded here. We have no information from officials on what to do or where to go.
And it got worse. At the Bowdoin T-Stop, many buses blew by. There was no room for any passengers.
They're not stopping. They're already filled. It's like they're picking up it. No one's, I've been here for 45 minutes and no one's picked us up.
Listen, if you give me a chance, I'll make sure you get on the bus, okay?
I went back to the office and I came back, and it's been about 20-25 minutes.
Around 5, the MBTA shut down the Blue Line because they needed to make emergency repairs to a metal grate in the ceiling that came loose. The MBTA tweeted this photo of crews fixing the grate in the tunnel. The 2-hour repair left commuters confused.
I'm going to take you guys to where the buses is going to be at, okay? Thank you so much. You're welcome.
It didn't appear the loose grate was weather-related, but it came on a day when everyone was wondering how the T would handle the first snowfall of the season.
We haven't had a storm yet, and look at this. Blue Line's down.
The Blue Line reopened by 7, but the damage was already done. Commuters on the first snowy day of December ending the year like they started it, with little faith the MBTA will get them where they're going.
The governor actually told us that he promised us that it was going to go well. This is today. What's going to happen when we get a foot or 2 feet of snow?
So that metal grate didn't actually fall down. It didn't hit a train or the tracks or anything, but right now the MBTA is investigating to figure out just how exactly it became loose. That's the latest live from Boston. Tim Caputo, 7 News 19.
Slick spots had drivers slipping and sliding all across black ice. The hard freeze could cause some big problems during the morning commute. The night team's Nick Emmons continues our team coverage from Andover. Nick?
Yeah, Elizabeth, this storm was nothing like, what we saw last year, but this storm did present its own challenges when that blanket of snow turned into sheets of thick ice.
The first snow of the season finally here.
This is home. I love winter.
Flakes falling across New England, conditions going from fluff to ice in a matter of hours.
Absolutely terrible. The side roads, the small roads, unplowed, terrible.
I don't like it. I wish it was nice, white, fluffy snow.
In Andover, the town decided to salt the streets but not plow most of them.
All of a sudden, I just hit some little patch of ice and it went sailing.
The driver of this Maserati wishes the town had done more.
You'd think they would have been looking forward to this for 2 months. But yeah, no, it's pretty bad.
The director of municipal services for Andover says hiring plow drivers costs around $15,000 an hour.
We're going to have nice weather tomorrow, so we did not want to hire the plows if we didn't have to.
Plow drivers like Mark Kujeka see this as white gold, especially after such mild weather in December.
I was sweating we would never make any money to pay for the truck or pay for the plow.
For winter diehards like George Packard,
Come on. A little bit of snow and rain ain't gonna hurt nobody.
all of this comes with the territory.
If you don't like it, get out of town.
All right, so if these frigid temperatures aren't for you, the good news is you don't have to leave town, at least not yet. Temperatures are expected to be on the rise over the next couple of days. But again, with temperatures below freezing likely into the morning commute, you want to take it easy out on the roads, give yourself some extra time. That's the latest live in Andover. Nick Emmons, 7 News 19.
And we should let you know tonight that the freezing rain advisory has now been canceled, but temperatures are falling fast. How long will they go? How low will they go? What are we expecting for tomorrow? Here's meteorologist Chris Lambert with a closer look.
Adam, give it a couple more degrees. I don't think they're going to move much further than they are right now, so that's the good news at least. But the bad news is we're well below the freezing mark, and we do have a lot of icy parking lots, sidewalks, driveways, and even some secondary roads out there. 25 in Boston right now, 23 in Lawrence, 32 in Marshfield, beginning to push some of that below freezing air toward the Cape Cod Canal. You look at the radar, and it's quiet right now. The atmosphere trying to dry out. Still a couple of patches of a light freezing mist, not out of the question, so there may be a black ice patch or two here and there, so you got to keep that in mind. But overall, this storm system is winding down. We're wrapping it up. Need the ice scraper in the morning? Certainly a good possibility with any freezing mist that we've had this evening. Have to chip away at that first thing, or just let the defrost run full blast for 5 or 10 minutes, see if you can melt that off. Cool day overall. Temperatures running into the upper 30s to near 40 degrees. We are dry New Year's Eve. I do expect a couple more showers to roll in, though, tomorrow night. We'll talk more on that forecast, the New Year's Eve forecast, coming up in a bit.
All right, Chris, before you head out the door, or if you're traveling for the new year, you can check conditions online at WHDH.com or through the 7 News mobile and tablet apps.
Also from the night team, a man in Andover is facing road rage charges. He's accused of gunning for trouble, pulling a pistol on a plow driver. The night team's Brandon Gano now in Andover, where we talked to that plow driver. Brandon?
Yeah, that's right, Liz. That plow driver said a man cut in front of him. The other man said that they were both turning and almost clipped each other. What we do know, though, is this quickly turned into a fist fight, and another man pulled a gun out.
You know, he comes flying in.
A snowplow driver said a man cut in front of him, and then when he pulled into a parking lot to plow some more snow, that same man attacked him.
So I opened the door, I get out of the truck, he immediately, you know, grabbed me, threw me to the ground.
But then the snowplow driver said it could have turned deadly. He told police 51-year-old Michael McCullum pulled a gun on him.
He pushed me back, he stepped back, you know, and he drew his weapon and pointed it right at me. Oh, it's scary. You know, it's not what you expect in Andover at 10 o'clock in the morning.
It happened Tuesday morning in Andover. In court, McCullum was charged with assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, telling police pulling the gun out was a stupid thing to do. But he also claimed the snowplow driver attacked him, grabbing him by the jacket and punching him. A neighbor said he only saw the tail end of the fight, but is just glad no one was hurt.
That's the world now, right? So I was just lucky that shots weren't fired and something came through the wall and put a hole in me.
McCullum is licensed to carry, and the gun was registered. A neighbor called 911, and he was arrested a short time later.
I just stood there. You know, there was nowhere I could go. I didn't turn around and run. You know, it was, you know, I just couldn't believe it.
The snowplow driver has a suspended license. McCullum is being held until his dangerousness hearing on Thursday. We're live in Andover. Brandon Gano, 7 News 19.
The night team now turning to a fugitive captured after an intense 3-week manhunt. The so-called affluenza teenager is busted across the border in Mexico, hiding out with his mother. The night team's Ryan Schulteis is up in our control room with more details. Ryan?
Adam, the two were caught after they used their cell phone to order pizza, and that gave away their location. Tonight, we're learning that they could be back in the U.S. as soon as tomorrow. After 2 weeks of a worldwide manhunt, Ethan Couch and his mother are finally under arrest and waiting to return to the United States. Police in Mexico caught them in this apartment around 6 p.m. Monday in Puerto Vallarta. His hair dyed black. Police believe in hopes to avoid being caught. This butcher says the teenager paid cash and seemed nervous. Police say they did not put up a fight when they were cuffed. The focus now, figuring out if they had help during their escape. The sheriff says they took off in this pickup truck in Fort Worth, ending up some 960 miles away.
They basically had a gathering before they left and, you know, kind of characterized it as more or less a going away party.
Couch killed 4 people in Texas while driving drunk back in 2013. During his sentencing, Couch's attorney argued the teen did not fully understand the difference between right and wrong due to his affluent upbringing. The judge gave him no jail time but 10 years probation.
It just sounded like the worst B-movie or TV show. They decided to hop in the truck, drive to Mexico, and hang out in a resort town full of Americans.
Earlier this month, this video of a party surfaced on social media. Witnesses say Couch was there. He's not seen drinking in the video, but alcohol use would violate his probation. The sheriff believes that's why they ran. Once he's back in Texas, a judge could keep the case in juvenile court, which would allow the teenager to go free on his 19th birthday in April. Or the case could be moved to adult court, where a judge could sentence him to just 120 days in jail. Couch's lawyers have yet to comment on his arrest. His mother is also facing charges in this escape and could spend up to 10 years in prison. In the control room, Ryan Schulteis, 7 News 19.
A candidate dropping out of the race for the White House, former New York Governor George Pataki, is calling it quits, walking away from the race for the GOP nomination. In a large Republican field, Pataki failed to get his chance against top candidates in pre-election debates, never making the main stage. He polled nearly 0% throughout his campaign. 12 candidates are still fighting for the Republican nomination.
All right, Democratic side now, Hillary Clinton making a stop in New Hampshire today. Hundreds of supporters actually stood out in the snow, just waiting to hear her talk. Instead of talking about her Republican rival Donald Trump, she instead focused on convincing voters that she is the right person for the job.
I also want to be a president who works for families like Brenda's, who understands that the problems that keep you up at night are ones that we also have to take seriously.
During her speech, Clinton also proposed a $2 billion plan to fund research to cure Alzheimer's disease.
And there's much more to come from the 19th.
Coming up next, the year in politics, from Donald Trump taking over the campaign trail to changes on Beacon Hill. We'll have 7's Top 7.
Then an incredible rescue days after a terrifying storm. The family who found their dog in the rubble of their home.
Our first winter storm winding on down. It looks like over the next 7 days, pretty quiet weather. 7-day forecast ahead.
And he's taken some big hits in the ring, but Mike Tyson has a tough new opponent. Can you see what that is? The Rough Ride, next on 7 News at 11.